your commercialization skills with the Great Plains I-Corps Hub. This event is offered under our U.S. Small Business Administration Federal and State Technology Partnership funding. I'm Kelly Higgler-Cornish. I'm the program manager for the Wyoming SBIR-STTR initiative. It's a program of the Wyoming SBDC Network. We have the Wyoming Phase 00 funding, which is micro-seed funding to help innovators prepare successful Phase 1 and Phase 2 SBIR and STTR proposals solving some of our nation's most pressing problems. Our team can assist you with determining if SBIR and STTR is a good fit for your company and or your project. We can help you find funding opportunities, research partners, mentors, service providers, and we can help you prepare competitive Phase 1 and Phase 2 proposals. Joining me today is my colleague, Monica Patton. Monica, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you can help them?
Yeah, so I'm the Research and Commercialization Director for the SBDC. So if you're preparing a SBIR, STTR application, you can send it to me for a technical edit. And also I can help with any patent stuff. But with the caveat that I'm not a patent attorney or agent, so none of it is legal advice. I'm just an inventor with for patents. And then I also help with like technical pitches or anything where you need somebody that knows some science and business.
Excellent. Thanks, Monica. A little background about our program. The Wyoming Small Business Development Center Network is hosted by the University of Wyoming, and we're funded by the Wyoming Business Council and the U.S. Small Business Administration. Our Apex Accelerator program is supported by the Department of War Office of Small Business Programs. We offer confidential, no-cost advising, education, training, and resources throughout the business lifecycle. Today, we're pleased to be hosting the Great Plains I-Corps Hub. Joining us today from the University of Wyoming, we have Erica Belmont, UW Associate Professor in Mechanical Engineering, Veerakumar, UW Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering, and also joining us is a previous UW I-Corps trainee, Brody Carhue. And from the North Dakota State University, we have Brenna Johansen. She's the Innovative Outreach Specialist as part of the Great Plains I-Corps Hub. Thanks everybody for joining us today. As you know, customer discovery is critical for our clients applying for SBIR and STTR funding and having a compelling commercialization plan. So we're excited to share this opportunity. Thanks, Brianna. I'll let you take over.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. Like Kelly said, my name is Brenna Johansen. They give me the long title at Great Plains of Innovation Outreach Specialist, but what it boils down to is I'm the recruiter for the hub. So I spend my time doing webinars like this, visiting our campuses and talking about the program. Just kind of a general, what is I-Corps? So I-Corps actually the I stands for innovation, so Innovation Corps. And it is a program through the National Science Foundation whose main goal is to increase economic impact of university research. So we kind of like the phrase taking innovation and creating impact. And so innovation can look, it looks different for everybody. We see people who are in the very early ideation phases. Some already have, MVPs. Some have very like beginner startups. But really what we want to emphasize most in our program is the importance of customer discovery and creating a firm foundation as the teams move forward in their entrepreneurial journey. We like to say I-Corps is not a 0 to 100 in commercialization, but really 0 to 0.5. So I'm going to kind of go through what our cohorts look like and kind of what the curriculum is, and you'll see here kind of what we can offer each team. So one of the main factors or important things about I-Corps is we're really here to reduce market risk through that customer discovery. Our hub covers 6 states in the Midwest. So we have kind of a large geographic footprint. So North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Nebraska, and Kansas. And we will soon be adding Missouri as well. But you can see at the little points, those are all of our partner institutions. So we work with 11 partner institutions, one being University of Wyoming, to offer these cohorts. And so because we are so widespread across the Midwest, our cohorts are offered virtually. So students or entrepreneurs in Montana can take the University of Wyoming cohort, or students in Kansas can participate the one in South Dakota. We find that this is a great place for people to collaborate across states, meet other students and entrepreneurs, but also it allows them to find a 5-week window that really works for their schedule without having to be in person, because we understand that time is precious and people are very busy. So a few kind of main reasons of why someone would consider I-Corps, why they would go through I-Corps. Number one is to validate and show significance of their research or their technology that they're working on. So throughout the 5 weeks, our minimum goal is 20 customer interviews. We have teams that far exceed that, but we find 20 customer interviews throughout the 5 weeks to be a good base for collecting strong qualitative data. So these customer interviews, I think there's a misconception that teams are going to be pitching their idea to these customers. We actually encourage teams to not talk about their technology at all. So the very first day of lecture, everybody gets to share what they're working on, what their project is that they're bringing through, and then we tell them to put that on the shelf. When we talk to our customers, we're really focused on their daily operations, the problems that they're facing. We want to be able to collect non-biased information that shows the significance of what we're working on and validates that, yes, there is a need for my business. There is also a specific customer segment. So we have people come through who say, my idea is for everybody. And while that's very admirable, it's most likely not true. And so we help teams really hone in on who their specific customer market is so that they can move forward successfully. So again, like I mentioned, strong understanding of potential market. They're going to learn about commercialization. So we teach in I-Corps the business model canvas. So we're going to focus on customer segmentation, value proposition. You're going to learn kind of dip your toes in commercialization, but by no means are we going to, talk about all of it as far as, the legal aspects, maybe FDA regulations. You're going to learn about kind of the high level and really focus on, again, the customer discovery and finding your specific market. There is a weekly lecture. And so within those, you're going to kind of form hypotheses. So when you have these hypotheses, that's when you're going to go out, you're going to do these customer interviews, and maybe you'll say, hey, what I thought is true. This is what these customers are dealing with. This is kind of what I was thinking. We also see a lot of pivots. Pivot is a big word in I-Corps. Teams are going to come through and they're going to talk with customers and they're going to hear things that are maybe different than what they thought. Or maybe teams are headed in a certain direction and that's not what customers need. And so the information that they're going to find is really going to test those assumptions and help them kind of sift through the work that they're doing. This is going to help de-risk future investments. So we see people who want to start a business and they're going to go and they're going to look for funding opportunities. They're going to maybe file for an SBIR application or patent application. And those applications are going to ask, like customer discovery and, market research. And people who don't have that, they could spend a lot of time and money. And if they didn't do the customer discovery, that could be a lot of wasted investment. And so customer discovery, like I said, is really just going to kind of put you on the right path. We also see a majority of our teams coming through to be students. And so it's a great resume builder. It builds soft skills. We always recognize that researchers and entrepreneurs are very passionate about the work that they're doing. And a lot of times they're very heads down with their work. And so we want to encourage them to put their heads up, talk to customers. And so they're going to develop those soft skills. It's always very intimidating right away, interviewing strangers. But most teams by the end say that they've become much more comfortable and they have that confidence to approach in a corporate or a business world. And then again, they're going to grow their network. So by offering virtual across 6 states and 11 universities, you're going to grow your network with teams, with the instructors. When you're reaching out to customers for your interviews, you'll also be growing your network. This is just kind of what you can expect in a regional I-Corps. So again, 5 weeks. Majority are virtual. Some do run in person, but those are very specific. A workload that a team can expect is about 8 to 10 hours per week. Might be less for some, might be more for others, but that's kind of a good estimate that we like to give teams. There is a 3-hour lecture once a week, and that is where instructors are going to be teaching on the business model canvas. That is where teams are going to be presenting their findings from their customer interviews. And then on the last week, they kind of have a final presentation. And outside of those lectures, there are office hours with instructors. So this is by no means a program where on the first day we say, welcome, go do 20 customer interviews. We'll check in again in 5 weeks. We're very much involved and hands-on. We are not hand-holding, but we do like to guide our teams and kind of help them sift through their findings that they get from their customer interviews. There is opportunities for participant support. So this is varying on each cohort. Every university institution kind of runs it differently, but the program is free to join. And some cohorts even offer a financial stipend or participant support, and that can be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. This is to be used specifically for customer discovery. So we have teams who maybe there is a conference running that is pertinent to the industry that their technology is in. We can assist them to pay for them to go and attend that conference in order to get customer interviews. We see teams rack up a lot of customer interviews at conferences like this because the people that are there are in the right industry. You know, they're like-minded in the work that the team is doing. We've seen teams use participant support to increase their LinkedIn to like a LinkedIn premium to help get a broader reach to find customers that are pertinent to their customer segment. It's very situational. And like I said, each cohort and institution handles it differently. And so if you have questions about that, it's either listed on that specific cohort, or you can always just ask the instructors, the coordinators of that cohort, and they can talk about what they're offering for participant support. University of Wyoming has one coming up in the spring. And so this is kind of how all of our cohorts are listed out. You will be able to see all of the dates so that you can make sure that you will be available. It is required that the entrepreneurial lead, who is the main person of the team, attend all of these. And so you'll see there's a very brief orientation starting on March 4th. And then the coinciding next 5 Wednesdays will be lecture, with the last day being on that May 6th. There is an application deadline of Sunday, February 15th. All of our information and applications can be found at our website. I'll include that in the Q&A chat for you all, but you can just go under events and you will see all available cohorts. Last year we ran about 24 cohorts. This year we're running close to 24. So if a certain 5 weeks doesn't work for you, I'm sure you can find another cohort that is available. A couple things, kind of maybe outcomes that I want to touch on before I bring Brody into the conversation. We see a lot of teams kind of go different directions after I-Corps. So some continue to do further customer discovery. There's a national I-Corps program. We see a lot of teams go on to do other NSF funding and different programs, such as SBIR, STTR. I've heard people say that they can tell the people who do customer discovery in their SBIR applications, they're just a little more strongly written. There's a better understanding of their market research and their customer. And so there are definite benefits of going through I-Corps. Kind of another bonus is a lot of times NSF programs really appreciate NSF lineage. So by going through this regional cohort, it is nationally recognized. And so to kind of attach that to applications that you're doing or funding opportunities or maybe accelerators is a good bonus. And so perfect. All right. And then Brody, can you kind of just intro yourself and then share, briefly the technology that you brought through I-Corps, the work that you were the project that you had?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi everybody. My name is Brody Carhue. I'm an ME student at the University of Wyoming and a participant in last fall's cohort. And the project I was working on and am still working on, as a matter of fact, is a cloth diaper washer and dryer. So it's basically a way to give parents a different option when it comes to diapering their kids. Because what I've recognized as of late, the only option parents really have for ease in their busy lives is to just use disposable ones. And after looking up some statistics and some values on cloth diapers, they are very bad for the environment, and they're very expensive, and to me it just is outrageous. And so, as kind of like what you said, creating innovation and creating impact, that's what I want to do. That's my dream. And this is something that I feel is a good market to go in, because not only does it, kind of help with that innovation side of things, but it creates a big impact, because cloth or disposable diapers in and of themselves make a big negative impact. And I feel like that's something that needs to change, especially, for the future, and just making the world a better place for our kids, so.
Yeah, that's great. Brody, can you talk about maybe like one or two key takeaways you gained from doing the cohort, things you learned about kind of the value of customer discovery?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, of course, like you said, the first thing is just customer discovery. The importance of knowing, do I have a customer base out there? And, sticking on the unbiased side of things, that is very, very important, because you don't want to make people feel pressured because you're interviewing to say, oh, yeah, your idea sounds great. You want to get an unfiltered, unbiased idea of whether or not, first, they think this is something that needs solved. And second, what are the biggest thorns and the biggest
Mhm.
pains that they would like your whatever it is, an application, whether it's a product or whatever, to solve this. And how, that's where we come in and think about, okay, how can I meet their standards? And that's really very important. And like you said before, or showing that pie graph, the percentage of businesses that fail because they don't have a customer base. And I know definitely on my side, when you think about it, you're like, my product's great, I would buy it, I love it. But that's not what matters. What matters
Mhm.
is there going to be other people out there who are going to buy it. And participating in cohort really helped me recognize the importance of that, because not only did I see it with my own project, but I saw it with my other fellow cohort members. And so it's great to see everybody kind of come together and talk about that. And I also really recognized, um, or what I gained from it, was the ability to interview people. I recognized from my first interviews, I was kind of like, okay, I don't quite know what I'm doing. I'm working on it. We're getting there. But by the end of it, I felt like I had really good questions to ask, and was really able to focus on how can I get their opinions in an unbiased sense on my own product that I have in mind. So it's a really good thing that can help you in the future as an entrepreneur, making all sorts of different products, or whatever you decide to do in the future. Um, Really helps you with your interviewing and your ability to talk to people.
Yeah, absolutely. I talked to a group of undergrad mechanical engineering students who were doing I-Core, and I said, who likes talking to strangers? And not one of them thought the interview part was comfortable. And I said, after the 5 weeks, does it get easier? And they all said, yes, it gets easier, and you learn how to ask questions that are going to give you good qualitative data. And you also kind of learn, it's not like, you learn how to be an active listener. You're not pitching your product or your idea. Really, you're just asking questions, and then you need to listen. And so, Brody, it sounds like you had a great cohort experience. I think your idea is awesome. Erica, Ram, do you guys want to chime in? I know Monica also herself has gone through I-Core, so maybe she'd like to share her experience.
So I was a mentor for a team on I-Core, and I've also had clients that have gone through I-Core. And the great thing about I-Core, especially the regional one, is that you don't have to have all the requirements you need for the national one. So like companies that don't have a professor or don't have extensive university connections can actually go through the same sort of process as the people do on the national scale, even though they don't qualify for national scale. And the team that I mentored, they learned a lot. And they actually found brand new markets, for their product, because as they were asking questions, they're like, oh, well, this over here, that can also solve that problem. So as you start digging into what your problem is, or what the problem your customers have, you might find out that you're shifting into a whole new direction or branching off into multiple directions. And I've also seen, clients branch off into questions about supply chain, as they're going through after they go through the I-Corps program, because they start asking questions and they're like, I didn't even think of this, but this is something that is a make or break for my technology. And if anybody's ever, nervous about, presenting their technology because they haven't patented it yet, you don't have to present all the details to be involved in this program. And if you want, a second pair of eyes to kind of look over your slides and see if there might be anything that you want to run by your attorney, you can always contact me at the SBDC, because that's something that I do for clients, quite a bit. So, but you should be able to do this program without, divulging any trade secrets, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. We see a lot of teams come through who are patent pending. And that's kind of one of our core principles in I-Corps is we're not talking about our technology. And so we very much support and understand when teams really need to be high level, and we'll kind of help educate them on how to best, word their questions, make sure that we're keeping their, trade secrets, as Monica said, safe. So Ram, Erica, anything you guys would like to add?
Hey, thank you, Brenna, and for your talk, and then thanks, Brody and Monica as well for sharing your experience. So Brenna captured almost everything that we offer, but one thing that is slightly different that we're doing, it was on the schedule, but just want to re-emphasize that so far the cohorts were mostly once every week, and then which led to the participants getting 1 week to meet customers. So we increased that timeline to 2 weeks. Like we're going to meet every other week, so that gives people like almost 14 days to meet customers. So we think that will ease out a little bit. The workload will ease out a little bit. And then the second thing was regarding the participant support. You kind of mentioned that different universities do it differently. So from the last cohort, the way we do it is the EL, the entrepreneur lead, will be paid a stipend of $1,000, which they can use for whatever they want. And on top of that, for the whole team, we'll reimburse about $250 for meeting customers or like travels or LinkedIn or whatever. So this is a total of $1,250 is what we pay out per team. These are, Erica, anything else that I missed that you want to add to?
No, that was great. Yeah, thank you all for presenting this and speaking to your experiences. Just want to encourage anyone who's interested to visit the Hub website, visit the page for our upcoming cohort, and apply if you're interested, and also reach out to myself and Ram if you have any questions. We're more than happy to talk about the training opportunity, any questions you have, your application. Just really want to raise awareness about this opportunity. We really believe it's a great one, and encourage participation. So yeah, thank you all for attending.
All right, excellent. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of the questions. There are several that have come in about the team. One says, I don't have a team. How many people do I need on my team? Another question is, if we don't have a team, do you help me build one? And who do you recommend that we add to our team? Who should be the team members? So just all those team kind of questions there. I'll just throw them all together.
Yeah, I can answer that. So great question. Typically, the structure of a team that we see in I-Corps is 3 members. The first being the entrepreneurial lead. So they're going to be the heavy lifters. They're going to be the ones that are kind of taking charge of the team, going out, doing the interviews, doing the presenting during lecture, really kind of the main contact for the team. And then we see a technical lead. So a lot of times this is a faculty member or a staff member at the university you're associated with. Maybe it is your business partner, someone who is very well versed in your technology, who can come alongside and work on the project with you together. The third team member is an industry mentor. So like Monica was, this is a third party, someone who has experience in the industry that's pertinent to your work, or maybe they have entrepreneurial experience themselves. Again, someone just to come alongside and offer advice and expertise as you go through this cohort. Now, that 3-person team is what is required to go on to nationals, but for regionals, it's much more flexible. So you can be a 1-person team. You can have 5 people. Let's say maybe there are 2 students who are entrepreneurial leads. Happy to have that. We just ask that obviously work is delegated so that nothing gets dropped. If you are a 1-person team and you would like to have a 3-person team, that is where I would say connect with Ram or Erica. A lot of times we can kind of match make with a faculty member or a staff member, or maybe there is someone who was an industry mentor and they can be again. And so by no means does the team make up. I want to encourage people to not let that deter them. We can always mix and match and build teams however suits you and kind of the work that you're going towards.
Okay.
And if it's all right, I'd like to speak on that too, real quick, because for myself, I was actually just a 1 member myself, and it is very doable. So like Brenna was saying, don't let that deter you if you don't have a team built up, because it is very, very achievable. Like I said, I was just the all-in-one. I did all of it and was able to get all the assignments done, was able to get the interviews done, and it was a great experience. So don't let not having a team built up yet deter you. So it's very, very achievable.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. We did have one question. You keep mentioning students, the university. This person says, I am not associated with the university. Can I still participate?
Yes. Yeah. So I-Core at its like foundation in the early years that it's been around for about 13 years. Our hub has been around for almost 5, but it's very academic focused. And so that's why we always talk about students, very much evolved out of graduate students and faculty research. But we have expanded to what we would call community teams. And so this is any local person with an entrepreneurial mindset, someone who's looking to maybe commercialize something or start a business. They're very much welcome to join.
Okay. And the final question I have here is about the application process. Since there's an application process, I assume that not everyone will be admitted. When will we find out if we're accepted to the program?
Yeah, I'll answer this one as well. So our regional cohort, so the ones that we offer, the one that Wyoming is offering, is much more, the application is much more info gathering than qualifying. And so really you're gonna click that application and it's very much, who are you? Who are your team members? Are you associated with the university? Questions about your IP ownership, and then very much like brief description of what you're working on. And then from there, really the only time someone gets turned away is if a cohort fills up. And so really it's a first come, first serve basis, in which case they would just let you know, hey, this one's full. Let's find you a different 5 weeks. So you will typically know there has that application deadline. You'll be notified after that application deadline if you've been accepted. Sometimes it's sooner than that. It's kind of dependent on each university and institution who's hosting. But yeah, like I said, people are only turned away if it's full, and in which case we just find them another one to join.
Okay, excellent. Just let everybody know that the UW application deadline is coming up. It is, looks like February 15th. So let's get on those applications. Yeah. And that's all the questions I have. Just want to thank the Great Plains team for being here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Brody, for sharing a little bit about your adventure, because that really helps people who are interested learn more about the experience of people who actually attend. So thank you, everybody. I really love it. And then I also just want to share before we conclude today's webinar that SBDC is here to help you succeed. Please reach out to your local advisor or visit our website if you have any questions about our programming. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Thank you to our presenters. Take care.